Check, 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 check. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that could be a little bit loud. Okay, just getting a few things set up. Apologies, running a few moments late. Okay, let's just get all of this set up. Alrighty, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, hello. Who is out there? Is there anybody there? Just give me a quick heads up, let me know that the sound and everything is all good. We'll get started in just a minute, or let anybody else join. Good afternoon, Robin. Good afternoon. So yeah, we'll give it just a couple of minutes to see if we'll have any others joining. This is going to kind of be leading on from the seminar that I did yesterday. Doesn't matter if you didn't watch it because you can get it through the YouTube channel. But I'll be going over a few things we talked about yesterday, leading on to this with your plan, percentages, and leverage, really. You know, whether you're using leverage or not, it's all going to apply. So we've got a few in here. Rubens, Robin, over TV. Let's just give it a couple of minutes. What's up? Sound is good. That is great. Okay, I've got my nice cup of tea ready. And we can get started in just a moment. Just only a couple of users on, which is fine. It's just fine. I'm going to keep doing these. As I said, next week I am going to ramp it up, whatever. It up and do some live trading sessions again, whether it's spot or futures. You'll just be able to see me trading live. I mean, it will be futures that I'll be trading, but for calls, you know, for longing, shorting, it will give you some good kind of ideas of me reading the markets and the trades that I do at that particular time, as well as some other seminars. So as always, any topics, let me know. We'll get started, and if anyone else joins, well, they can. Let me just get my specs on. So, okay, yeah, this seminar, leading on from the one that I did yesterday, was and is going to be on the percentages that you're going to be using, and you know when to adjust, and also using different leverage for the futures trading. So as I touched on a bit yesterday, that you know there's many different strategies that you can be using, and that's why we've created the plan, which we went through. I went through it on the pro side of things as well as the futures here. You know, you've got your plan section. Oh, can you see that? Why is that not opening up? Ah, there we go. Yes, it is. Yes. You know, and this is what you want to be doing per month, just to kind of have an idea what trades you've got to do per day. Let's just go, you know, from the spot trading itself, as we touched on yesterday with the percentages, that will give you an idea of when you can start kind of making more per trade, pretty much, because in the spot trading it was like, right, 1% profit, 4% loss, but then over time you want to increase your profits, reduce your losses, everything again I talked about yesterday. But again, that just comes with you doing a lot of trades. The thing with futures trading is that you want to kind of say, right, and part of the plan go, you know, you may think 25% is a bit much. Cool, well then go for 15, but you want to kind of keep this consistent. And I think it was you, Rubens, that asked it yesterday in the community, you know, so am I using my full pot per trade? Again, it depends on your plan, and what money you've put in. Let me just pull up Binance here, because what I'm going to just show you is some of... Oh, why has that not got... it has got me, yes, lovely. It's some of the coins have allow you to do different things in terms of volume that you can put into them. So that also has an effect on your plan. In answer to your question, I know Ben answered it in the group, is you can use your full pot per trade, or you can have a couple of trades on the go, like with spot trading, but you don't want to be sitting in a market with 4, 5, 6, 7 trades on the go, because it's way too many moving parts. Stick to just a couple. Sorry, the internet as always is just absolutely just so quick. Let's get stuck into it. I'm going to stick mainly with the futures. With the spot trading that I talked about yesterday, you will know from your spreadsheet, getting your success rate higher and going right, rather than 1% profit, let's go to 1.2. Rather than 4% stop, let's reduce that. Let's try and reduce the losses as much as possible. But how to do that and why to do that, and even with futures, I'm just going to touch on a bit of what I've gone through in the pro training. So if you haven't done your pro training, you're going to get a nice little sneak preview here as to what is going on. So I'm on Bitcoin at the moment. Let's use a different coin just so we can... I know my brother likes XRP at the moment. He's doing a lot of trades on that, which is great. I mean, the main thing is there are different coins, different Satoshi amounts, and a lot of different range. So depending on what your plan is, what movement you need to make. I'm going to touch now more on just a bit of chart analysis, what to look for, and then tie that in really. I know you asked Ruburns with your leverage here and going looking at your plan, looking at what percentages you're going to be wanting to move, and that obviously is based off your leverage. As we know, the higher your leverage, the less it actually has to move on the charts, which is the whole great thing about not having to put as much money in, but also you're not needing such a high amount of movement. So as always, I like to start on 1 hour candles, and let's just go here. Here's a new trend that we have coming on right now. It's on the way up, going off the closing prices as we always do. You can see it's coming up. It's peeled away from this trend line. It's come down, up again, down. So it's coming to this trend line here. So for you guys, if you're spot trading or if you're using the futures and looking at percentages, again, there are so many moving parts, but it's really cool. Okay, what candles are you going to be trading off? And knowing the bandwidth, for you guys that have been with us from the beginning, we looked at these bandwidths, right? Let's make sure we've got at least 5%. Obviously with futures, things change a little bit, but the higher or the more bandwidth, the better, the more range, because the more this is moving. And this is just 15-minute candles. I'm going to then come into 5 minutes. And you can see here, this trend line still applies, and it's really starting to hug this. So if any of you are looking and trading, or even on Lend or whatever, and you're thinking about a potential trade, then Lend, one characteristic of a trend change, especially when you identify this trend line, is that it starts to kind of hug the trend line before it bounces right off. Now when it starts to hug, it could actually break through, be a great position to short it. But as I say, next week I'll be starting to do some actual just live trading sessions, and if I'm watching this, if it breaks through, I'll short it and I'll talk you through why and how I do that. So if I'm using, let's go back to 20 leverage. That means, and I hope you all understand this, if I'm going for 20% profits, that's 18-ish, 17-ish% net profit. I need a 1% move on the charts. a coin like this is pretty good because there is a lot of movement even on the 5-minute candles. But you're going to look at some coins, and again, let me just go back to when I first started doing the futures, I was using and trading Bitcoin quite a lot. Well, if you've got this low leverage and you're wanting to go for a bit of high percentage, if the leverage scares you a little bit, which it shouldn't, but if it does, you may think, right, I want to use a bit less leverage. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Use a bit less leverage, therefore I need a bit more of a percentage move on the charts. Well, if and when this Bitcoin chart ever loads up, something's happening, it's moving up. So I've got some notifications coming through. It's coming up, it's coming. Once, and if it ever does, 11,800 Bitcoin. Whew. Still thinking and hoping that it's going to have this retrace that we all want before the big shoot up. So if I was liking coins like Bitcoin, or if this was another altcoin that I was looking at, again, you really want to be looking at and going, right, if it had double bottom, if it was near here, but I need a 1% move, you can see the difference. The bandwidth is about 0.5%. So you're actually not only wanting it to go from the lower Bollinger Band, you're wanting it to go to the top Bollinger Band and through. So this should help with your plan and with the trades that you're doing. If you then go, you know what, 1%, that's quite a lot. Even though, hello, C1 Crypto One method, it was all based on 1%, but now you're moving into futures, or if you're on the spot trading, you can adjust your leverage here. So now that's 0.5%. which again is quite a lot, but word of warning, just you're then starting to increase your leverage, and it's a small move, but it's a small move up. 0.3 is what it said. It's a small move up, but therefore it's a small move down. And if you can see that already off the lower Bollinger Band, that candle here is spiked down. So Rubens, yeah, you asked in terms of, and please, I know there's only a few of you in here, so if you have any questions as I'm going through this, please answer away. I'm just kind of talking out loud with what you asked, with the difference with these leverages. Me and my bro was talking last night, and again, we've the futures has recently come out. We've obviously just added this in here. We're going to be not only putting more alerts together, but some more kind of packages in terms of for tips and tricks for different leveraging with different coins, because depending on what coin you're at, which also has an impact on your leverage and what you can use. If I'm going to go, let's just see here. I was just going to, there is only certain, I'm just bear with me just a moment. You've got your maker and take a fee here. Margin balance. What you will find is not only with the checklist, and with some of the trades that this is now going to probably bounce up a little bit here. It's trying to go through quite a nice double bottom here, and it's now starting to work our way up. Bit of resistance at this level. So anyway, what I'm getting at, what you will have to do for each coin, again based off our checklist, is to set it so that it's at I'm not on. Just bear with me a moment. I am. Why is that? Yes. Okay. So I'm on here. So isolated and 66. Sorry, I just lost the plot there for a moment. You will need to make sure that it's on that for each one. Okay, this is starting to pop up nicely. We might as well watch it a little bit. You can see here, just off this 5-minute candles, we had a bit of a bottom down here. It's come up, it's come down. This is quite a nice, this is going off topic a bit, but let me just share the analysis. This is forming quite a lovely, and has formed quite a lovely, sorry, the screen W. You can see the characteristics of this W here. It's then come down to that same bottom, and it's trying to, again, it showed good support at this level. So this should continue up. Anyway, more of that to come next week. We can do some trades together. But what you need to do when you go on each coin is actually, when you start to put in more money, then you're actually restricted with the amount of leverage that you're going to be able to use. If you're wanting to use higher amounts, for example 750 or 1,000, which I do, then I use that, and I use less leverage, because depending on what the coin is, will only allow you to leverage, therefore borrow, and have a certain amount of money that you're using per trade. So this is where it all kind of boils down to on your futures calculator, as well as your pro, your plan aspect here. What do you want to make a month? Okay, how many days do you want to be trading per week? The profits you're going to be working with. One thing you will find interesting here, took me a little while to get my head around, 750, if I want to make 4,000, it's generally what I'm doing, then, if I'm using 20 leverage, I need 5 trades per day. If I go to 30 leverage, absolutely nothing happens. If I go to 35, oh, that's gone up a little bit. Let's go to 40 trades a day. You'll see that by obviously adjusting the leverage, your trades per day needed also changes. And you may think that that's the other way around. Surely if I'm using more leverage, then I need less trades per day because the trades are higher. That's not the case, because the fabulous sheet that we've got that talks you through all the fees, the more leverage you're using, the more you're borrowing, so the more fees you get taken for. Of leverage plans for risk takers more. Very good question. Yeah, so we are all kind of learning together through the foundation course, the pro course, now welcome the futures. We all have different styles with it. So question being, for those of you who can't see the question, would you have any different recommendations, leverage plans for risk takers versus more risk adverse traders? Well, just like with the foundation course where we said to start off with $100 per trade, again, we reiterated this here. You really only need to be starting with a very small amount. And I would, in the beginning, start with less leverage and work your way up. Again, just my preference, and again, to kind of lie on the side of safety, because as we know, these markets move. There's a hell of a lot of volume with these futures markets, so they move up and down very, very quick. If you are using a high leverage, a low leverage, let's say, as I've already illustrated here, your trades are going to take longer, but you're going to need more of a movement in the actual market. As you then start to get comfortable and your success is high, then start upping your leverage, because it requires less movement. But if you're catching these reversals, or if you're getting, and trading off the alerts, then again, as always, it's all about timing. So, long answer short, in terms of recommendations, leverage plans for more risk adverse, then in the beginning, start small, start low leverage. Then I would for anybody, just strategically put in a bit more. And some trades, depending on the coin that I'm trading with, some trades I use a higher amount. So I generally kind of split between a leverage of around 50 or a leverage of around 20 to 30. So it depends on the coin, and with what I've just said prior to this, you have the ability, and what you need to be able to be doing is checking things like bandwidths, making sure, depending on what you're going for. But there's so many moving parts with trading, with futures. Likewise, for you guys watching this that are not on futures, and you're wanting to get more from each trade, then just slowly stagger it up. If you're going for a 1% change or 1% profit, and that's from the bottom to the top of the Bollinger Band, well, this is too narrow anyway for that sort of trading. But don't get greedy, don't increase your profit too much. For your terminology, Rubens, for risk takers, try to avoid taking the risk. But one of the plus or positive things with this futures, and it can seem a bit daunting to people to start off with, because you've got the option of leverage and therefore borrowing money and therefore putting more capital into these trades. But with this, what you can only lose what you put in. And if I'm going for 20% profit, 20% stop, if you have a success rate, let's say 67%, I'm on the left hand side here, and I'm going to turn $750 into $2,000. Oh, one trade, $2,000. Oh, that's 2,000. Third time lucky. There we go. You can see here, 750, 20 leverage, just to turn into $2,000 a month. It's 4 trades a day, 67% success rate. That is 2 out of 3 trades. When you're talking about futures, you can long or you're short, or you can go short. So whether you have no knowledge at all, you can go on a coin and go, right, I'm going to long this or I'm going to short it. And you've got a 50-50 chance of getting it correct. You then apply your knowledge. Some of you have been trading with us quite a while, therefore you've been looking at these screens for quite a while. You have generally quite a good idea of, right, should this be reversing and going up or down? Just to convert your 1 out of 2 to 2 out of 3 is what we're basing these plans off. To take people who are beginners to this to then slowly start upping it. So my plan would be for risk adverse traders would be to start with a success rate like this, rather than going for 80%, which is just 2 trades a day. Say, right, you know what, I'm just getting used to it, 2 out of 3 trades, let's go with that. So keep your leverage low, don't go for massive profit and losses. I keep them the same, but bear in mind, if this is 15% profit, once the fees have been taken off, it works out to be about 12 or 13. This is 15% loss. Well, once the fees have been added on, it works out to be about 18%. So it's up to you. You can always keep the profit a little bit higher, the loss a little bit lower, just so generally, trade for trade, you're winning or losing pretty much the same amount. And yeah, that's it. I hope that's helped somewhat. As I say, next week I'm really going to be, at least a few times in the morning a week, just going live when I am. So feel free to join, and just mainly on the futures trading. I'll answer your question in just a minute, Rubens, but mainly on futures trading, but just trading, and you can see, trades I'm going in on, executing trades, why am I going long, why am I going short, why am I doing it. I'll try and talk out loud as much as possible. Leverage is part of the plan. As you swap out leverages for different coins and trades, do you record the trades on different calculator tabs with different plans? Yeah, very good question. You'll see I've got a few tabs at the bottom. Me and Mike have a endless amount of spreadsheets with different plans and stuff that we're doing. You've got to try and keep it not as simple as possible, but your plan, you obviously don't want too many moving parts to it. So again, for traders new to this, I would say to stick with a small amount and stay with the same leverage just to begin with, because then you're dealing with, whether you're on, let's say starting with 25 and you wanted to go for 15, then you're dealing with a 0.6% move. Therefore, each time 0.6. But it's a great question because, we've gotten rid out of the high and the lows that you were recording on the other sheets, because now you're just putting what you start with, what you end with for the profit and for the money. So you can do, once you start to get into the swing of it, if you want to duplicate this and have a second one, but I would say have one for for the leverage itself. But the main thing is, you're going to have I would say to you, Rubens, you're going to have your plan here that is, right, I want to turn 750 into 2,000. That's 3 trades per day. Your C1M number, you want to be doing 50, you're going to be doing $57 a trade if it's on that success rate. That's what you want your annual income to be. So if you're using different leverages per trade, because on here, all you have is your date, coin, start and end, it all takes into account. And you're going to know if you're going to be on track through profit or net that you've made or lost because of your C1M number, which is going to be matched up here, and it will tell you the difference. So you will know if you are on track or not. So in the beginning, I would keep your leverage the same, keep it all on one tab. But you will find that you can either just incorporate it onto one tab, one spreadsheet, or you can quite easily have 2 leverage options and 2 spreadsheets. So I hope that answers your question. Any other questions for you guys on here? Bit of a shorter one today, but it was a bit of a lead on from yesterday's seminar. As I say, not tomorrow, next week with trading sessions that I'm doing, I'll be going live more and more. So you'll see me ping up. I'll be whacking them into the community for you to check for futures trading, but that applies for all the trading. In terms of the chart analysis, I'll be talking through. All that's different is just executing the trade, but the more you see, the more straightforward it will become. Any other questions about this, about anything else, or what I've talked about, or anything in general? I'll be happy to answer. If not, I will bid you a farewell, and wow, maybe go and put the kettle on again. Let's see if anyone's got any questions. You're very welcome, Robin. You're very welcome. Again, Reburns, thanks for the suggestions for these topics for yesterday and today. Again, any other suggestions, let me know if anybody has. If not, I will leave it there. Have a great weekend yourselves. Make sure you're taking a break from trading. Sunday is generally my day off where I do nothing. I do stuff, but I try and not look at the screen. So make sure you're taking a bit of time off with the trading. But as always, any questions, any concerns, queries, then message Ben. No, send me a message. I'm joking. Message any of us. We're here to help. On that note, that is it for today. Short and sweet. I will hope you have a good weekend, and I'll see you next week for some more seminars as well as some trading workshops. Yeah, we'll call it that. Why not? Get our trade on together, and you can just watch me do my thing. Alrighty, people. Have a great weekend. Cheerio.